and welcome to the 30th Broyles Award. At this time, please take your seats. We are minutes away from the start of the ceremony. Once again, at this time, please take your seats. The ceremony is about to begin. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the 30th Broyles Award. We are 1 minute away from the start of the ceremony. At this time, please take your seats. Once again, please take your seats. We are a minute away from the ceremony. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screen. It's time for the 30th Broyles Awards ceremony.
I've never seen stand so full of life. The whole state was behind you. There was a spirit there about it, Coach, and that means that your team has done something that's really great for this state.
Thank you, sir. We're very proud of our players. They've had a big part in the success that we've had.
For decades, the top assistant coaches in America have come to Arkansas in hopes of taking home the most prestigious honor an assistant coach can receive, the Broyles Award, named in honor of the Hall of Fame coach at Arkansas, Frank Broyles.
You kicked the butt of the best football team in America.
Yeah! Finalists have included some of the biggest names in college football: Kirby Smart, Gus Malzahn, Steve Sarkisian, Tony Elliott, and Brent Venables.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Frank Broyles' work in selecting and training assistant coaches is unmatched. Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, Joe Gibbs, Hayden Fry, and Johnny Majors are just some of the 27 coaches who worked under Coach Broyles and later became successful head coaches. The numbers are staggering. His assistants won 6 Super Bowls, 5 college national championships, and more than 40 conference titles.
One of the wonderful things we can do is honor the assistant coaches to give them a national award.
Coach's incredible legacy extends beyond football. His playbook for Alzheimer's caregivers has impacted millions of people all over the world. And proceeds today support the mission of the Frank and Barbara Broyles Foundation, supporting caregivers in crisis at no cost. We lost Coach in 2017, but today the Broyles Foundation is honored to recognize college football's top assistant coaches, chosen from a pool of more than 1,500 coaches nationwide. And tonight, 3 decades of honoring the very best in the game culminates with the 30th Annual Broyles Award presentation.
Please welcome the chairman of the Broyles Award, Jeff Hildebrand.
Thank you, Kyle. Wow, those lights are bright. Welcome to the 30th Annual Broyles Award presented by Oakland Hot Springs. I'm Jeff Hildebrand. I'm chairman of the Broyles Award. It's my 20th year in this role. I know many of you here are very surprised I've made it 20 years. Either I'm doing something right or nobody else wanted the job. I think it's the latter of the two. Tonight's ceremony is being streamed live across the Broyles Awards social media platforms, broylesaward.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, also known as X, whatever it's being called this week. To kick off this evening, Kyle Deckelbaum will introduce our special guest, our 2024 Broyles Award winner, and this year's 5 finalists. Kyle?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 30th Broyles Award, honoring America's top assistant coaches and benefiting the Frank and Barbara Broyles Foundation. Please turn your attention to the back of the stage for our special guest introductions. We start with the cornerstone of the Broyles Award and Broyles Foundation. She is the daughter of Frank Broyles and the co-founder of the Broyles Foundation. Please welcome Betsy Broyles Arnold. And Betsy's daughter and the granddaughter of Frank Broyles. She serves as the executive director of the Broyles Foundation and Broyles Award. Please welcome Molly Harrell. Let's begin with this first team All-American and Outland Trophy winner for Jackie Sherrill's 1980 Pitt Panthers. He was a first-round draft choice for the Washington Redskins, where he became a 2-time Super Bowl champion under Joe Gibbs and was named one of the 70 greatest Redskins of all time. Please welcome back College Football Hall of Famer and a great friend of the Broyles Award, Mark May. One of the hardest working broadcasters in all of sports. This Hall of Famer can be seen at every significant college football game on Saturdays in the fall, including the national championship between Indiana and Miami. She also covers NCAA women's basketball, softball, the WNBA, and was the first female commentator for the Utah Jazz. On social media, she's known as the Sports Siren. Please welcome to her first Broyles Award, Holly Rowe. Next, we keep with our 30-year Broyles Award tradition of welcoming back our previous year's winner. Notre Dame's defensive coordinator earned the Broyles Award by leading a dominant Irish defense that ranks second in the nation in scoring defense and 9th in total defense. He also led the nation in turnovers forced and defensive touchdowns. Following this successful campaign, which included a berth in the national championship, he was named defensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals. Please welcome back to the Broyles Award, your 2024 winner, Al Golden. Next, we have the only head coach to ever win 100 career games at the high school level and 100 career games at the collegiate FBS level. As an assistant coach at Auburn under 2004 Broyles Award winner Gene Chizik, he helped lead the 2010 Auburn Tigers to a national championship, tutoring Heisman Trophy winner Cam Newton. He capped that season by winning the Broyles Award himself. As head coach at Auburn, he led the Tigers to an SEC championship and appearance in the 2014 National Championship. Please welcome back to the Broyles Award, Gus Malzahn. Next, we have a finalist from the 2022 Broyles Award. That season, as Tennessee's offensive coordinator, he orchestrated the nation's top-ranked offense with 47 points per game and 538 yards per game. That opened the door to becoming head coach at South Florida, where he compiled a 19-win improvement over the previous head coach. This past November, he became the head coach at Auburn. Please welcome back Alex Golish. Our next returning finalist was part of the 2024 class. He was the first defensive coordinator in Tennessee history to be named a finalist for the Broyles Award. His defense propelled Tennessee to 10 wins, allowing the fewest points since the 1998 national champion Vols. His tough defense held 10 of 12 opponents under 20 points. He is currently the co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach with Alex Golish and the Auburn Tigers. Please welcome back Tim Banks. Our next Broyles Award guest was one of 15 semifinalists in 2018. He is one of the rare offensive line coaches that became Broyles Award finalists or semifinalists over the past 30 years. He led an offensive line that helped Georgia lead the SEC in rushing and finish 11-3 with a number 7 national ranking. In 2020, he became head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks and has recently retired from football right here in Hot Springs. Please welcome Sam Pittman. Now it's time to meet our 2025 Broyles Award finalists. Our first finalist is a familiar face at this ceremony, as this marks Mike Bobo's third trip to the Broyles Award as Georgia's offensive coordinator. His other visits were in 2012 and 2023. This season, he helped the 6th-ranked Bulldogs to a 12-2 record and their second consecutive SEC title. His offense averaged 32 points per game, ranking 5th in the nation in first down production and 3rd in time of possession. Please welcome Georgia offensive coordinator Mike Bobo. For the second straight season, Indiana's defensive coordinator Brian Haynes is a Broyles Award finalist. Last year, his defense made one of the biggest improvements in Broyles Award history. This season proved that last year was no fluke. Second nationally against the run, second in turnover margin, and the Hoosiers lowered their points per game to just 11.7 allowed during their 16-0 run to the national championship. Please welcome Indiana defensive coordinator Brian Haynes. If you want to know one of the most important reasons the Miami Hurricanes were in the national championship game, look no further than our next finalist, Corey Heatherman. In 2024, the Hurricane defense ranked 70th in the country in points allowed. In 1 year under Heatherman, Miami finished the season ranked 5th, giving up just under 15 points per game. Miami was also stingy against the run, allowing just 89 rushing yards per game, 6th in the nation. Please welcome Miami defensive coordinator Corey Heatherman. Our next finalist had a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator career with the New England Patriots, where he won 3 Super Bowls. And Matt Patricia wasted no time showing what he can do in the college game at Ohio State. In his first season, his Buckeye defense dominated the competition. They rank as the nation's #1 total defense and scoring defense. They were also ranked #1 or 2 nationally in 9 different categories, and this was after having to replace 8 of their 11 defensive starters. Please welcome Ohio State defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. And he led a stunning defensive revival in Lubbock. In his first season as Red Raider defensive coordinator, Sheil Wood took a defense that gave up a whopping 35 points and 460 yards per game in 2024 and flipped the script. His defense went from 121st to #3 in the nation, giving up only 12 points and 258 yards per game. His defensive numbers were the best at Texas Tech in 75 years and helped the Red Raiders finish 7th in the final poll, best in school history. Please welcome Texas Tech defensive coordinator Sheil Wood. Let's hear it for our 2025 Broyles Award finalists.
Kyle, thank you very much. As we all know, the Broyles Award honors the top of Division I assistant coaches. And as you may not know, it also supports the Broyles Foundation, which provides critical resources to caregivers of those battling dementia or Alzheimer's. This mission is personal to me and my family. Sorry, this is hard. My wife's probably out there laughing because she says I don't have any feelings because I haven't used any, but tonight I did. My mom had dementia. We lost her 3 years ago. This is tough. The support that I got from the Broyles Foundation and Molly and Betsy was truly invaluable. They gave guidance, comfort, and most importantly, they reminded us we weren't alone. It's such an important mission. All of us in this room, it's not a question of if you will be affected by dementia or Alzheimer's, but when. The Broyles Foundation was a tremendous help to me and my family. If only they offered caregiving for people who stress watch football games, and we'd all qualify for that. Thank you for allowing me that. That was very difficult for me. At this time, I'd like to invite Don Gooch with Arvest Bank to come and lead us in the national anthem.
Come on, Don. Bring it on, man. Let's go.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right. Thank you everyone for being here. 30 years. It's pretty incredible to be able to say that standing up here today. So we have an exciting new partnership. Wicked Mix is the official snack sponsor of the Broyles Award and High School Broyles Award. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They are an Arkansas-based company. They use Arkansas products whenever they're able to, and it's honestly such a delicious snack. We were so excited to be able to partner with them. There's Wicked Mix around in the lobby and at the reception, but a very exciting announcement that we have is one person in here will win a year's supply of Wicked Mix. So on your table, you have a QR code, scan it, sign up. Before dinner's over, we're gonna announce the winner. It's one of our favorite snacks. We can't say enough about it. Favorite snacks to eat. I can't say enough about it. So find that QR code, scan it, sign up. Somebody in here will win a year's supply, and we'll be back here in a little bit to announce it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Molly, very much. Next, our prayer will be offered by Chuck Monan. He's the minister of Pinnacle Church of Christ and widely known across Central Arkansas as the pigskin preacher. Only in Arkansas can you be a preacher and a sports personality and have one nickname that covers both jobs perfectly. Chuck?
Join me in prayer, please. Father, we're thankful for this glorious evening. We're thankful for all those who worked hard to make it possible. We're grateful for the food and for those that prepared it. Father, we're thankful on this occasion for the legacy of the great Frank Broyles, for his contributions to the game of football, to the state of Arkansas, and to those who are struggling to care for those with Alzheimer's. Father, we pray a special blessing on those families that are so impacted this way. And Father, we're thankful for all of the guests that could be here from far and wide. And Father, especially these 5 excellent coaches for the success that they've enjoyed. We pray that you be with them, that you be with their families. And Father, even that you be with Coach Patricia, except for that last game in November when they played the Maize and Blue. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I would say thank you, Chuck, but I'm not sure I want to do that. But anyway, please enjoy your dinner. The program will get started shortly. Thank you. Please continue to enjoy your dinner. I know this is difficult for some of you, but we're going to have to hold it down just a little bit. There you go. Please continue to enjoy your dinner. It's my pleasure to introduce Molly Harrell and Betsy Broyles Arnold. They have a special story about Coach Frank Broyles. Give them a round of applause.
Okay, before we get to the best part of the evening, which is dessert, we have our Wicked Mix winner. I'm really excited. Listen, a year's supply of these snacks is a pretty incredible win. Okay, the winner is Brad Boyette. Where are you, Brad? Where is he? I can't, okay, we can't see you. Brad, yay, congratulations. At the back of the room, there's a gift card for you, and they'll get you all your snacks. All right, the most exciting part of the evening.
Okay. So, do we have a treat for you? We learned a few years ago from Ken Hatfield that my dad's pregame breakfast was Frosted Flakes and ice cream. So we decided that is going to be the dessert for the Broyles Award. So for those of you who haven't tried it, try it. And we hope that you like it. And we love some of the coaches that do it now. They send us pictures doing, eating Frosted Flakes and ice cream.
Please send us the pictures. If you haven't tried it, you're going to love it. And send us pictures when you've got it at home and you're eating it.
Yep. So enjoy. That is our dessert for the Broyles Award.
Yes, dessert is served.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start with the program. Okay, one more time. We're going to start with the program. Let's bring it down to a... We're getting there. So coaches, finalists, I'm going to show you how this is done. So if you get that opportunity when you're talking to Holly, make sure you thank your wife. And so, Deanna, I love you. You've been with me for this. We've been married 16 years. We've been together for 20 years, and I couldn't do it without you. I love you very much. Gentlemen, that's how you do it. I've used 2 feelings tonight, so I'm good for the next 10 years. Okay, it's my pleasure to introduce the founder and creator of the Broyles Award, David Basil. Really? I deserve more credit than that. I mean, gosh. Better known as a Baz. He grew up in Panama City, Florida, joined the Razorbacks in '81, and was a linebacker for Lou Holtz and Ken Hatfield. And if you ever hear him tell the story, 1984 Liberty Bowl, he had how many tackles against Bo Jackson?
15.
I think it was 21 tackles at one time, but he was the MVP on the defensive side. Who was the offensive MVP? Bo Jackson. Bo had 43 yards, and he had 40 on one carry, and David wasn't in the game. So anyway, yeah. He loves Arkansas. He loves Arkansas so much he stayed. That alone makes him tougher than most of the Florida Beach kids. He co-hosts a morning show on 103.7 The Buzz from 6 to 10 a.m. That's 4 straight hours of live radio every morning with Roger Scott. I mean, if any of you know Roger Scott, that's got to be painful. On top of creating the Broyles Award, David has been directly or indirectly involved in creating 8 other awards. I think that's right. He calls them his children, which makes this one now 30 years old. This is his oldest child, and this is the only one that hadn't asked him to borrow any money lately. Seriously, I've known David for over 40 years, and there's definitely no one like him. And thank goodness, because Arkansas can only handle one. My friend, David Basil.
All right. All right. Yeah, Bo. Where you at, Bo? Broken hand, the second series of the game. Taped it up, had it playing with the club. 15 tackles, 10 unassisted, 3 behind the line of scrimmage. The one play I'm not in there, he gets 40 yards. He gets 80, the lowest production of the season. He went on to have a better career than me. Okay, that's all right. It's all right. Listen, it's so good to be here tonight. I can't tell you, I came to Arkansas from Panama City, Florida back in 1981. My mom's here tonight. This is my home. I love it. I had a vision when I was a 16-year-old kid that if I went to Arkansas, God sent me to a place that I can do cool things when I'm done with football. A night like tonight is exactly why I'm here. 30 years later, we get to continue to honor the great legacy of Frank Broyles. Coach was one of a kind. Guys, I will tell you, when Coach Broyles walked in a room, it was over. It was over. He was so dynamic, so amazing, that Georgia drawl, and that's so dynamic. And so it's hard to believe 30 years. When I asked him 30 years about doing it, I never thought about, hey, we'd be here in 2025. But I know he would be so happy to see this kind of room, this amazing turnout, this amazing class, such a great class. I mean, great assistant coaches. The pay's a lot better than where we started in 1996. I'm just saying, a lot better, a lot better. But I'm so honored to be here tonight. The best thing about this, y'all, is when we started this, there was no charitable component, and now we have one. Coach Broyles died of Alzheimer's. His wife, first of all, his wife died of Alzheimer's, Barbara. He died of Alzheimer's after spending the last years of his life, supporting, raising money, going to Congress. And so we're doing two things tonight. We're honoring one of the greatest ever as far as a coach goes and a mentor of assistant coaches, and we're honoring his memory of wanting to help people that are struggling, just like Jeff was talking about. And if you don't, listen, Nick Saban, great coach, and he's got a lot of great assistant coaches that are doing great. But when you start naming off Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, Joe Gibbs, Hayden Fry, Johnny Majors, 6 Super Bowl championships, 5 national championships, 2,000 victories. Let me tell you, even to this day, it's darn impressive. So I'm so glad to have this here. We'll talk a little bit more about the trophy here in just a minute. One of the great things, too, I learned back when I was dealing with Coach Broyles that he was as powerful as anybody, including the governor. Mike Huckabee was the governor back then. I remember we went down for the Battle of the Boot, and the governor wanted, the Coach Broyles said, bring the governor. We want to go down to Baton Rouge. I need to tell the governor what I'm going to do with Danny Ford. So we were on the plane going there, and he told Danny Ford, he said, Coach, he said, Governor, if Danny Ford doesn't win today, I'm going to have to let him go. And Governor Mike Huckabee said, okay, Coach, whatever you say. But that just reminded me of the stature that Frank Broyles had back then. And so it was so impressive, and he just was a wonderful man. And to this day, now, Sarah Sanders, the 47th governor of our state, since she's been governor every year, has either attended this event or wanted to say a few words. And she did it again tonight. So let's turn to the screen and see what Governor Sarah Sanders, our 47th governor of Arkansas, had to say.
Hi, I'm Governor Sanders, and it's my privilege to welcome all of you to the great state of Arkansas and to the 30th Annual Broyles Award. Each of you here represents the hard work, grit, and determination that define the legacy of Coach Frank Broyles. To our 5 finalists, only one of you may walk away with the award, but all of you have shown yourselves to be outstanding assistant coaches as you've helped run some of the best football programs in the country. To my good friend David Basil, thank you for everything you've done to grow the Broyles Award into a nationally recognized honor. And to Betsy and Molly, thank you for reminding us that some things are more important than football. And as much as he was a great coach, Coach Broyles was an even greater husband, dad, and grandfather. I hope all of you enjoy this event, and congratulations to everyone being honored.
All right. Thank you, Governor Sanders. That was perfectly said. Thank you so much. For 28 years, we were over in Little Rock and had an amazing Broyles Award. With the change of the college playoff landscape, we realized that, we could not do this before the playoffs started, so we had to be on the backside. And that's when Wayne Smith came to us and said, David, you need to come over here to Oaklawn. It's been here since 1904. It's great. We can do racing, we can do spa, we can do casino, we can do it all. Our space is amazing. And we have raised the bar because of our move over here. If you will, please welcome our presenting sponsor, Oaklawn, and the general manager, Wayne Smith, everybody.
Well, thank you, David. What a crowd. Thank you. We are absolutely blessed and privileged to be the presenting sponsor and the host for the 30th Broyles Award. Thank you very much for coming. Coaches, congratulations. Great seasons. On behalf of my family and everyone here, thank you for the memories and thank you for the time. Thank you for allowing us to see you all on TV doing what you do best. And for the high school coaches that are here, congratulations for all that you've done. You know, as Baz said, a couple of years, I'd say it's probably 3 or 4 years ago, I went and saw the Broyles Award at another place. And I will tell you that it was not at the level of the prestige and the excellence that the Broyles Award deserved. And so for 2 years, my team knows that I kept saying, how am I going to get Baz to agree? And then ultimately, I got to get Molly and Betsy to agree to come to Oaklawn. We hadn't really proved ourselves. We had just opened this place. Our team was starting to get their sea legs. And wouldn't you know it, I begged and pleaded and told them that this place was going to be better. And hopefully you guys feel that way. Hopefully you all feel that way. So if you'll indulge me on 2 quick things. One is, somebody mentioned Roger Scott earlier. Where's Roger Scott? Where's our man? All right, I know David does all this by himself, but quite honestly, his co-host, and I will tell you, many of you don't know this, but he is the only person to ever have a residency at Oaklawn. He does trivia every Thursday night. Unfortunately, tonight he's not going to do trivia. We're not going to subject you to that tonight. However, if you want to go to Mainline every Thursday night, Roger Scott at Oaklawn, residency, he's the only one. And secondly, and finally, if you guys can all indulge us, please. I know that you go to other events around our state, around the country, but I guarantee you never had a better service and better food than what you had tonight. Could you please recognize our servers and our chefs? Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Wayne. I appreciate that. Also, Wayne's team, 20 people deep. I know Molly and Betsy, you agree, nobody touches what they do over here. How about him throwing some shade at Little Rock? Boom. All right, talk a little trash tonight. That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Let me acknowledge, if those of you who go to the Touchdown Club know I know how to appreciate and thank our sponsors. You can't do it without sponsors. Look at this great crowd here. This is a full house. I get a lot of credit for this, but the bottom line, it's all of us. It's all of us doing this for a great cause and to honor Coach Broyles and to honor these great assistant coaches. So let me run down some of our sponsors real quickly. First of all, I want to say thanks in addition to Oaklawn. Visit Hot Springs, Steve Harrison, thank you so much for your support. You're amazing. Lexicon, who is our reception sponsor, Patrick Schick, Jennifer and Mars Schick, you're the best. Appreciate you guys. Lindsay Management, Lindsay, thank you so much. The Hatcher Agency, Greg Hatcher, who does so much. Travel, all of it, he does it. He's a game changer. Thank you, Greg, for 20 years of the Broyles Award. Wicked Mix, Scott Wademan. Moonlight Mixes, very nice. We appreciate him. Rockstar Passes, Brad Rickett, Joey Gonzalez. Thank you guys so much. Arvis Bank, Franklin Bass, Don Gooch, you guys are the best. The Family Market Stores, David and Doug Hendricks, the Hendricks family. Thank you guys for believing in the Broyles Award. Tito's, Matt Curtado, we appreciate his support. O'Connor Distributing, Jake Tuplanis. Thank you, Jake. WK Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, we appreciate their sponsorship. Yarnell's, Mitch Evans, thank you. AY and App Magazine, Heather Baker, thank you so much for your passion for the Broyles Award. The Buzz, 103.7 The Buzz, Terry Mahan, Justin Akery. As Wayne said, my right-hand man, Roger Scott, who will be again doing live shows tomorrow morning. Appreciate them. The Democrat Gazette, Wally Hall. So Wally Hall was with us 30 years ago. He's been with us every year. He's been writing about the Broyles Award. Let's give a special 30-year appreciation to Wally Hall. Before there was really an internet, before there was social media, In the old days, you had a newspaper, and Wally, you were a key in supporting what we were doing, so could not do it without you, so we appreciate you. Arkansas Television, Carlton Wing and his amazing staff, Anita, Brian, that's streaming this live tonight. We appreciate them. Future Marine, Rick and Terry Kesterson, thank you. Bowtie Wealth, Dennis Berry, you're a great guy. Cares about people, appreciate you. Cleeton, Tammy Brewer, U.S. Bank, Natural Estate Wholesale, Don Grisham, one of the greatest guys there is on the planet, cares about people. TDSIT, Tim Stanley, all the printing is done by them. We appreciate them. In Design Lab, Steve Qualls. If you've seen the merch out there, we've got some amazing Broyles Award merch. Go out there, buy it, take advantage of it, but thanks to Steve Qualls. Let's give all those sponsors and all of you who bought tables. It takes all of us to do this tonight. Let's give everybody a big round of applause. Appreciate them. You guys mind if I sweat a little bit? It's what I do. I sweat. I'm not apologizing. It's what I do. It's okay. Let me also real quick give some acknowledgement to our Broyles Award team. Wes Sutton, 30 years. So two things. Wes Sutton has been picking up our guests and our finalists. The first year we did this, guys, Wes picked up Bo Schembechler. This is all came in for the first year. They were all on the selection committee. Bo Schembechler, Darrell Royal, Vince Dooley, of course, Coach Broyles, Dick McPherson, Don James, and all those was the first year. He's been doing it for 30 years. So thank you, Wes Sutton, for your amazing. Kyle Deckelbaum, thank you so much for, thank you. They're very good. It's all good. It's all good. Kyle Deckelbaum, we couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Kyle. It's so valuable to what we're doing. Our Touchdown Club volunteer team, 20 plus folks, led by Debbie Wyman. She's been doing it for 30 years. She's been with us for 3 decades. Ann Broadwater, Dwayne Duncan, Nelson Chenault, Alicia Dover and Jeremy Flynn, JF Media Marketing, Jake Lane, Branches Mission Lab, Josh Mindeman, Todd Pierce, Steve Sullivan. 30 years, you'll see the introduction of our 5 guys here tonight. Steve Sullivan has been doing this for 3 decades, and he does it better than anybody. Wait till you see the introduction you guys get. Outstanding, thanks to Sully. And our host, who were there to take these guys around and meet them, couldn't do it without you. And last but not least, I want to say, Jeff Hildebrand, 20 years. If something was to happen to me or Molly and Betsy, he could do this award by himself. He's so dedicated. He's so passionate. Let's give a round of applause to Jeff, Wes, everybody who's been involved for 30 years. I want to acknowledge the members of the national media that are here today. Josh Pate. Josh is one of the fast rising stars in college football media. He was hired by ESPN in January. He came last year with his girlfriend Savannah. Now it's his wife. He's got the biggest guns. He's got the biggest guns of any sports media guy in the country. Great to have Josh Pate. Big things ahead for him. Great to have you here. Also, Brandon Marcello, CBS Sports. Grew up in Farmington. One of the biggest sports writers in the country. He's here tonight. Bo Mattingly, one of the biggest guys out of the state of Arkansas doing national stuff. Let's give a round of applause to all of our national guys that are here. Do want to thank our Broyles Foundation board. I want to recognize him real quick. Lawrence Williams, Jeff Hildebrand, Marie Bruno, Eunice Corey, and Razorback great Quinn Grovey. Let's give them a big round of applause. Wanted to also mention 2 really Razorback loyalty. I don't know how many of our finalists know, but Marty and Vicki Burlsworth are here tonight. There are 2 national awards that come out of the state of Arkansas. The Broyles Award and the Burlsworth Award. Burlsworth Award goes to the top player in the country. He started his career as a walk-on. They're over a decade of doing it now. But Marty and Vicki Burlsworth are here. Let's give them a round of applause. I don't know where they're at. If you're here, stand up. Let's give you a wave somewhere. And also wanted to mention too, so next I want to talk about the Broyles family that are here today. So a few days ago, I talked about Coach Broyles, his wife, both succumbed to Alzheimer's and losing their life. And both Betsy was amazing in what she did. But just a few days ago, the second oldest child of Frank Broyles, Hank Broyles, passed away at age 76 of Alzheimer's. So it's a reminder of why we're here tonight and the fact that Betsy is here. That's her brother. And she spent the last 3 or 4 days, 24/7 for 3 or 4 days. It reminds us of why we're here. And we've got Hank's son, Lex, his wife, Gina. They're here. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's welcome them where they're there. Hank was a wonderful guy. He was a wonderful guy. He really was a special guy, and it reminds us of why we're here. Also, Betsy's twin sister, Linda Mays, and her husband, Jimmy Mays, are here tonight. We appreciate them being here. And Molly's husband, who is executive director of the High School Broyles Award, Clayton Harrell. Let's give all of them a round of applause if you don't mind. Also, to my left here is the Broyles Award Trophy. It's $5,000 to reproduce, maybe $6,000 a year to reproduce. It's about 70 to 75 pounds, somewhere in there. It's gotten heavier over the years for me. But coaches, so just so you know, when I went to Coach Broyles 30 years ago and I said, I'm going to build this trophy, who do you want beside you? Do you want Jimmy Johnson? You want Joe Gibbs? You want Barry Switzer? Hayden Fry? Johnny Majors? He said, no, David. I want Wilson Matthews. So Wilson Matthews at Central High School won 10 state championships. He won the mythical national championship in 1957 at Central, won 33 games in a row, and he became the cornerstone of the Frank Broyles program. And that is why he is on here. And tonight we have his son, Bruce Matthews. Let's give him a round of applause. Please stand up, Bruce, wherever you are. There you are, right there. So coaches, the one thing that he would do, he balanced it perfectly because he would get after your blank. But you know what? The players didn't care because they knew he loved them. It was a great balance, and he was the toughest coach they had. But the players who played for him at Arkansas and at Central loved him. So great to have Coach Matthews, and great to have Bruce here tonight. Also, the other part that's so cool that's changed over the last 30 years, we now have a High School Broyles Award. So we started this back, this is the 6th year. We started with just a few states, I think it was Texas, Florida, where we give a High School Broyles Award to the top assistant coach in that state. We are up to 42 states now. And tonight here in this room, there are 32 states represented. So, if these guys are smart, they know who they need to see after the banquet, right? We have to acknowledge Clayton Harrell, who is the husband of Molly. He is the executive director. At this time, I don't know where they're at, but I want the 32 Broyles High School Award winners from the 32 states to please stand, and let's give them a big round of applause. Where are they at? Come on, guys. The best assistant high school coaches in America. There they are. They will have their own banquet tomorrow night with a special guest that I'm going to introduce here in just a second. But do want to thank their presenting sponsor of the High School Broyles Award is Field Turf. Jamie McDonald and his team, thank you so much for believing in the High School Broyles Award. Boxed Out, GoFan, Victory Rings. They've got unbelievable giant rings that they get. BSN, Rockstar Passes. All those sponsors do it. It's an amazing event. And so the guest speaker over the years, we had Matt Rule last year from Nebraska. We've had Gus Malzahn before. And tomorrow night, we have a super dynamic guy who started as a high school coach. He's passionate and has taken Texas Tech to the highest levels that they have ever had in program history. Let's get it up for Joey McGuire, everybody. Come on, Joey, stand up. And what's great about Joey, he grew up in Texarkana. He grew up rooting for the Razorbacks. So don't anymore, but you did back then. The guy is super dynamic, and his wife Debbie is here. And so I love that part. I think Coach Broyles would be so excited to know that we're doing the greatest the college assistant coaches and high school. So I can't wait till we get to 50 on that at some point here soon. At this point, too, I want to go ahead and bring back Betsy and Molly. And, you know, their goal with Coach Broyles is to continue to perpetuate the legacy of Frank Broyles. They've got some really exciting news they want to mention tonight. And they're ultimately, really, to be honest with you guys, they're the reason we're here, right? I mean, that's what we're here. We're going to honor you guys, but how cool is it we're helping people that are dealing with the worst disease ever. So if you don't mind, let's give another big welcome to Betsy and Molly, everybody.
All right, please excuse my phone. We're very emotional today. This is really special for us. I want to make sure I can get through it, but to look out into this room and to see the support and talking about 30-year sponsors, new sponsors, Hot Springs, thank you for supporting this event. What a wonderful move it's been for us. We've just fallen in love with Hot Springs and this community. And, we've been thinking about, what would my grandparents think 30 years later? What would they think of where the award is and what it's been able to accomplish? And I know that he would be so proud that when David started this 30 years ago, we had two core values. It was to honor college football's top assistant coaches and to honor the head coaches of the household, this group of ladies right here that run things when these coaches are living their dream. And for 30 years later, for those two things to be front and center still is really special. So thank you to David and Jeff Hildebrand and everybody who's been involved for maintaining the integrity of this award for 30 years. We all know that the college football landscape looks very different today than it did in 1996, but the importance of what assistant coaches do has not changed. Not only what they're doing on the field, but what they do off the field, why they became a coach, why they want to influence this next generation of athletes. The heart behind the headset is what we say. The things that really matter, X's and O's, yes, winning, yes, but why do you do what you do? Who are you as a person? My grandpa loved this event. He was invigorated by getting to meet the coaches each year, and I know he would be so proud to meet each and every one of you and the things that you have accomplished. These coaches right here, these coaches in the audience, just as proud as he was for that first class in 1996. So we have some exciting news. This is really life-changing for the foundation and the award, and I'm so excied to share this. So a group of 3 coaches, Rhett Lashley, a multi-year Broyles Award finalist, Gus Malzahn, a winner, and Eli Drinkwitz, a head coach who believes in the importance of assistant coaches, came together, each pledging $10,000 towards a matching gift of $100,000 with the hopes of garnering 7 more coaches to help us reach a match so that we could announce it tonight in honor of the 30th year. And I am so honored that 9 additional coaches stepped up to the challenge so that we can continue honoring college football's top assistant coaches and making sure that nobody has to go through Alzheimer's alone, that they don't have to suffer this journey without a game plan. So I want to thank you to Bill Biedenbaugh, Kirby Smart, Lincoln Riley, Garrett Riley, Al Golden, Morgan Scally, Brent Venables, Joe Brady, and Tony Elliott for their generosity so that tonight we get to say we need to raise another $100,000 for this match. Every dollar matters today. There's a place on your table where you can scan a QR code. You can give directly tonight. You can make a pledge. And we're able for 30 more years to honor the important work of these assistants on and off the field and to make sure that no one goes through this alone.
So, that's okay. So it has been my dream to sustain my dad's legacy, not only for the Broyles Award, but for the Broyles Foundation. So here's to 30 more years to honoring top assistant coaches in college football and to making sure that caregivers have a game plan, they understand how to care for this disease, and that they know that they are not alone. I mean, as they stated earlier, 3. I've lost 3 people in my own family. We know how difficult it is to care for this disease. And as Molly said, every dollar counts. So thank you for your consideration. Thank you for being here tonight. It's so special. It's our 30 years for honoring these 5 coaches right back here and of course, Al. And so just thank you for coming and we're just excited for this great opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Molly and Betsy. Appreciate that. And thanks to the coaches that are here tonight that gave towards that. Appreciate that. And so it's an ongoing battle. It's a horrible disease, and this family has dealt with it more than anybody, and they know. You heard Jeff Hildebrand talk about it. That's why we're here tonight. We're doing great. Listen, wait till you hear these guys tonight. This is such a great class. You're gonna love these guys. By the way, when Coach Broyles, when we started this thing 30 years ago, David, we want to promote the assistant coaches. We want to give them the opportunity to become head coaches. And so sometimes coaches, it's about getting the opportunity. But sometimes you got a guy like Phil Parker. Phil Parker's not going to be a head coach anymore. He's a career assistant, and look what he does. How good is he? So it's not just about being a head coach. Some of these guys have been head coaches before, but Coach Broyles wanted two things, to honor those guys, career assistants. And for the first time in Broyles Award history, a week ago, we had 4 of our finalists that have come through Arkansas for the Broyles Award that became NFL head coaches. Joe Brady became head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Jesse Minter, of course, Joe Brady was at LSU. Jesse Minter, who was a Michigan finalist here, he became head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Jeff Hafley, who was the Ohio State finalist, became head coach of the Miami Dolphins. And Todd Monken, who was here with Georgia, became the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, just in a week. And Dan Quinn, who's head coach for the Washington Commanders, was a finalist here. So it doesn't really matter. The main thing is that we're honoring great assistant coaches here, and that's the most important thing. And so that's why we're so glad to have 2 great people here to help us tonight. First of all, we'll bring up Mark May in just a second, but right now we want to bring up Holly Rowe, who you heard the introduction for Holly. There is not a harder worker in the country than Holly Rowe when it comes to broadcasting. She's getting ready to make the transition from college football to college basketball, to college softball. She's got 7 games next week. Saturday, she's got to be at South Carolina versus LSU. But the great thing about Holly, she is one of the kindest, sweethearted persons you will ever meet. Single mom that worked her butt off to get where she is. She's at every major game that you can see. But the best thing I like about Holly is that she is a good person. That's the most important thing about Holly. So at this time, we're going to have Holly go down on the floor, and we're going to have Holly real quickly talk to some of our folks that have been here before. Let's give it up for Holly Rowe, everybody.
Hello. Thank you for having me. This is a great honor. I got to know Coach Broyles when I first started my career with ESPN. We would go into Arkansas, and before we would meet with the head coaches, Coach Broyles would have you come up to his office, kind of give you the lay of the land and the spiel. And so we got to visit with him, 12 times. So I got to know him very well. So this is my first time here tonight. And I feel very honored because he was somebody who meant something special to me. So without further ado, I want to talk to some of our people who have been longtime coaches. I'm going to start with you because congratulations on your retirement. I wanted to ask your wife, is this a good thing or a bad thing so far? But you answer that.
She's ready for me to go back to work. I'll tell you that. Yeah, been a week.
1 week. Okay, deep breaths. So I have this vivid memory. When I got assigned to cover your first, I covered your very first college game when you were coordinator. You were coming from Springdale High School in Arkansas, and I tracked down the Gus Malzahn Guide to Offense book, and I still have it to this day. As you look at your career, what are you proud of that you have left us with in college football? Because you did have a huge impact, particularly offensively.
Well, what I'm proud of, I was an Arkansas high school football coach for 15 years, and that's really where I knew that's who I am. And I'm an Arkansas high school football coach that just got the opportunity to coach college, and I'm real blessed to coach some great players, and really it's been a fun ride.
What's next? What are you going to do?
That's a good question. We got 4 grandkids. We got 2 daughters, and so we're gonna hang out and do some family time and see what the Lord has for us next.
Okay, when you were at Auburn, I got your wife into Pilates. So do you want to join her with Pilates? You want to get going on that?
Yeah, I need to get in shape. I'll tell you that. I do know that.
Oh, well, now's the time. Congratulations on a wonderful career, start to finish, everything that you did and how you impacted the game. We are grateful for you. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Gus Malzahn.
Okay, I'm very proud of this next young man because I first got to meet Alex Golesh when he was coaching as the offensive coordinator at Tennessee. And I'm not joking, we had a meeting with you, and when we left the room, me and our producer, Jonathan Wiley, turned to each other and said, I would hire that guy. And the very next year, you got a head coaching job. So here you are now, coach at Auburn, which I believe is a diamond of a job. What are you excited about to share of your journey from starting out as a longtime assistant and now getting a big-time college football job?
Yeah, well, just like Coach Malzahn just said, I started out as a high school coach and started out with the mission to have the same impact on young people that my high school coach had on me. And my high school coach now is our director of player development, and the only task he has is to give the guys in our program the same experience I had. But as crazy of a journey as it's been, it's always been about giving back and giving young guys the same experiences that we had. And through all the changes of college football, the one thing that hasn't changed is young guys want to be held accountable. Young guys want to be given direction. And I think ultimately, as I've gotten older and have had my own kids now, I think we got to prepare these guys to be incredible husbands, incredible fathers, and send them on a career path, same opportunities that we had.
So I love that. That is well said. So let me get this right. Your high school coach that coached you in high school, you have brought on to work for you at Auburn.
Yeah, he would tell you he works with me, not for me, but yes.
But that is really special, is he made such an impact in your life that you want him to be with you and to touch other people in the way that he touched you.
Yeah, I think high school coaches are the most powerful, most impactful people in any high school building. I think you've got these guys' ear, you've got their heart, and you truly do set their path for their futures.
Well, congratulations on your big job. New football facility, new practice facility. Auburn is rocking right now. Like, you heard it here first. Oh, you guys want to hear this? You're Arkansas fans. Never mind.
Next. Just kidding.
Coach, you guys are going to be really good, and I believe in you completely. Coach Banks, you have been a finalist here before, and now here you are reunited with Coach Golesh at Auburn. You have made such a great impact, and I have appreciated we've had many meetings together, haven't we? And what do you think as you leave the Broyles Award and how it's impacted you in kind of getting your name out there and networking and be able to get good jobs and be well thought of?
Well, it's exciting just to see all the coaches here. There's so many great coaches here. You know, I've known Coach Golesh for, I guess this is our third opportunity working together, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity to meet him if I hadn't gotten to Illinois and had a chance to work with him. So just all the relationships you have a chance to build, that's just what this thing's about. As everybody stated, it's about impacting these kids, and I'm just super proud to be part of this fraternity.
I've been able to be at a lot of your practices, and one of the things I appreciate about you is I've watched you coach your defense. You are an outstanding teacher. And I always feel like if I can understand it, your kids can understand it, and you were explaining it well. How do you think, kind of coming up from the ranks and paying your dues has made you a better teacher?
Well, I was a D2 guy. That's where I started. I know we talked about high school guys, and, when you coach D2, sometimes I was the video coordinator. I was the GA. I did it all there. So it forced me to be patient, be very detail-oriented in everything I've done. And, I think I've been able to come up this track this way and been able to help these guys because details are everything. It's the details are in the margins. So it's exciting. It really is. You're just having a chance to teach and learn and grow. And like I said, I've been around a lot of great coaches, so it's been awesome.
Okay, I also think you're going to do great at Auburn. Okay, we've got one more coach that we want to be sure to check in with. Full disclosure, I just got a text from Barry Switzer. And I was like, he must be feeling the energy of the Broyles Award because he is someone who coached with Coach Broyles. Hi. Hello, my darling. Coach Pittman, we go way back. And when I say way back, I've probably known you for close to 30 years. And we've talked a lot of offensive line. I'm so proud of you. You're one of the few... Did I go? Oh, here I am. That was not a coordinator, but a position coach to be a finalist. How do you feel like your legacy, particularly with offensive line play, which we know is the most important thing, how do you feel like your legacy lives on?
Well, I mean, I got my opportunity here, and I'm blessed for that, you know. The offensive line is so important. You know, both sides of the line are so important. But I've always enjoyed you. I mean, you know, we go a long, long way back. Well, not you, because you were just a baby, you know, and I was older. But no, I think the legacy is that all coaches in all positions are important. And so you just got to find the right guy that can lead your program. And there's a lot of guys out there. I obviously had my opportunity here at the University of Arkansas.
And Coach, I got to cover one of your biggest wins here just a few years ago, and I remember the fans storming the field, and we were out on the field, and like just to be able to share that moment with you, because assistant coaches put in the hard work. There's an old joke, you always want to marry an assistant coach because no matter how hard it gets, he's always had it worse. You have, good, thank you. I need a bigger laugh for that. That's funny. Come on. But you know, the other thing I wanted to remind you of is that you were the great architect of one of the best Georgia offensive lines. You know, you recruited those kids, built that up until they could sustain it and win national championships. How do you look at your time there and what was important with that?
Oh, I loved every second of it. You know, gave me an opportunity to see things that I hadn't before, like, you know, the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and the national championship opportunity to go there. I had never experienced that before. And Kirby is a great coach and gave me an opportunity to go over there. And then because of that, I was opportunity to be the head coach at Arkansas. So really enjoyed that. But, you know, it's just like all these guys here. I'm indebted to Kirby because of what he was able to do for my career.
Well, you are one of the classiest guys I've ever known, and you know I love you so much. Just one of the great people in this business, and I salute you and I honor you, Coach. Thank you.
A lot of our former finalists and winners wanted to be here. I'll be honest with you, when I started calling back to some of the guys in the 90s, I'm not joking. David loved to be there, but I'm having a hip replacement surgery, and I'm not joking. There were like 3 of them. Mark Mangino, Bud Foster, all of them. So someone could be here. We're so thankful for those who showed up today. But let's take a look at the screen right here and see some of some national media members and some of our former winners and finalists. They wanted to share their thoughts about the Broyles Award.
The Broyles Award, what a special award. As a young coach starting in this profession back in the year 2000, there were so many Broyles Award winners that I looked up to, so many in my career that I wanted to emulate. And I had lifelong goals of being a defensive coordinator in the SEC and trying to be the best defensive coordinator in the country. And you can't do those things without going through the Broyles Award and being a finalist or winning that award. It's meant a ton to me in my career.
I want to take this chance to say congratulations to every single person involved with the Broyles Award on its 30th anniversary. What an amazing accomplishment for so many people that have become very special to me and my family. One of the absolute highlights of my career, one of the most special moments, was getting the opportunity to meet Coach Broyles growing up as a young person in the state of Texas in the South that loved football and read about all the old rivalries and all the great coaches and players, kind of being there with him in that moment. Even now, looking back on some of the pictures, it's still a little surreal to me. I know Coach Broyles obviously, valued so much the job of the assistant coach in football.
I want to say congratulations and thank you to the Frank Broyles Award. You've had 30 years of success. I know coaching in college at University of Miami, Oklahoma State, and in professional football with the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. My success was because of my great assistant coaches. So congratulations again, and good luck to the nominees. You've had a great year.
Well, congratulations on 30 years to the Broyles Award. As a past winner myself, knowing the value that assistant coaches have in any football organization is critical to the success of that organization and that football program. And I'd just like to congratulate all the finalists this year and to another 30 years of success with the Broyles Award.
Coach Mac Brown here. It is hard to believe this is the 30th year of the Coach Frank Broyles Award, honoring the best assistant coaches in the world. He got it, he knew it, that's why he won so many games and changed so many lives because Coach Broyles was the best. Not a head coach in the world, including me, that couldn't do it without these great assistants. Congratulations. What a 30-year run, many more to come.
Happy 30th anniversary to the Broyles Award. I am honored to be a voter for this distinguished award. And I think it's important to recognize the top assistant in the country because these guys don't always get the recognition that they deserve, but obviously play an integral role in their team's success throughout the season. And they're almost always on an upward trajectory in their career towards achieving that ultimate dream of becoming a head coach.
Hi, it's Morgan Scally, head coach at the University of Utah. I was a finalist for the Broyles Award in 2019, and while I didn't take home the award itself, I did take home an eye-opening education into the life of one of the greatest coaches to ever do it, Frank Broyles. We still cherish those connections today. In fact, Dan Lanning and I continue to laugh at the fact that we knew we had no shot versus Joe Brady from LSU. So with that, I'm extremely grateful to the Broyles family, Broyles Foundation, for even including us in on such an amazing award event. And to this year's winner, congratulations. What an honor.
Hi, everyone. Tonight marks the 30th anniversary of the Broyles Award, and I'm incredibly honored to be one of the past recipients. This award has always represented the very best of college football: hard work, loyalty, excellence behind the scenes. Being recognized alongside so many great coaches who've shaped players, programs, and lives means more to me than I can put into words. The Broyles Award celebrates the impact assistants have on this game, and I'm proud to forever be a part of that legacy.
Barry Switzer here. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to be a part of the 30th Frank Broyles Assistant Coach Award. I never got it, but anyway, I got to coach for him for 6 years. I learned my game from him and his staff. The people around me have always been my great mentors and teachers, and I've always tried to surround myself with people better than me, and that was the key to my success, not only having great athletes, but great coaches.
Hey everybody, Gene Chiswick here, recipient of the 2004 Broyles Award here. I can't thank the Broyles family enough, starting with Coach Broyles and all of the Broyles family who I've become really close with over the years. Actually had a chance to come back as one of the finalists in 2015 as well. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. But this was a life-changing award for me and for so many others.
Appreciate all of you guys there honoring Coach Broyles. He made a huge impression on my life and my coaching life. When I had a chance to go to Arkansas and coach there with Coach Broyles, I took the job without ever visiting.
This is Tony Elliott, head football coach, University of Virginia. To all of the past winners, I acknowledge you and salute you and tip my cap. And to all the future winners, man, I'm excited about your opportunity and just how much this award is going to change your life and change your perspective. And really for me, it was never was I seeking credit as an assistant coach, but to be able to receive your flowers while you can appreciate them is really, really special. And that's what the Broyles Award allows for.
It's a big year for the Broyles Award. The Broyles Award goes out to the top assistant coach in the country. Like this year, Mike Bobo's a finalist, Brian Haynes is a finalist, Corey Heatherman, Matt Patricia, Sheil Wood. So first, big congrats to the finalists. It's the 30th anniversary of the Broyles Award. I call it the premier event of Valentine's Week, maybe even above and beyond Valentine's Day itself.
Howdy y'all, Marty Smith here from ESPN. Quick acknowledgement to the Broyles Award, David and his whole group for how passionately they champion and highlight our assistant coaches throughout the entire college football landscape, and it's so important today. Head coaches today have to wear so many hats, genuinely have to be CEOs of these programs in order to excel at the highest level. What's that mean? It means game plan, scheme, strategy fall to the gentlemen that are being acknowledged tonight. And what an incredible group of men it is. Coach Bobo, Coach Haynes, Coach Heatherman, Coach Patricia, and Coach Wood, all of whom led their respective programs to the top of the sport, the college football playoff. An incredible group of men, incredible leaders of men. Gentlemen, I hope you enjoy the acknowledgement tonight. It's a great night. Enjoy yourselves, and congratulations.
Barry Switzer. Is he not one of a kind? Oh, my Lord. He probably would have won. Barry Switzer and Johnny Majors were on the same staff with Coach Broyles. Are you kidding me? Holy mackerel. Anyway, thanks to all the coaches who sent messages as well as the national media. One of the things we've done for 30 years is we always bring back our previous year's winner. We want to do that again this year, of course, 30 years. Al Golden won this award last year for his amazing job with Notre Dame. Took him to the national championship game. Had like 31 turnovers. It was amazing what he did. Became the defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. We got a chance to go up, present the trophy to him in front of his players. And one of the things I noticed about Al Golden, his players love playing for him, which is the greatest compliment that you could give. And it's great to have him and Kelly back here tonight. Please give it up for our 2024 winner, Al Golden, everybody.
Thank you, David. Oh boy, it's great to be back here at Oaklawn, and thank you for the hospitality. I want to start by saying it's an honor for my wife, Kelly, and I to be here. So Kelly, please stand up real quick. There she is. We're so proud as a family to be part of the Broyles legacy, and congratulations to all the finalists. Unbelievable job by all you guys this year. Just a stud group here. I want to share one thing before we move forward, and that is I received a bunch of compliments last year on my acceptance speech, and it dawned on me a couple of days later, it wasn't an acceptance speech because the speeches, or in this case, the Q&A this year, precede who wins the award. So what was it? It was a snapshot into who we are as coaches, the high school coaches, the coaches that we just met in the audience, the coaches that are here, what we stand for and what we represent on a daily basis. So I just want to put that in your ear before we do the Q&A so that you can understand better how these men up here change lives and why they matter, why this matters. It matters because we started today with God and country, which is really important. That's how we started this thing today, which is really important. It matters because they put family first. It matters because, that they are great mentors and honor their mentors by how they teach and help players become the best version of themselves. This entire thing matters, and what you're going to hear from them today isn't really focused around stats or scheme, really. And scheme is important, but that's not what it's about. It's about how they move individuals to be the best that they can be on a daily basis, how they teach kids to persevere in a day when everybody outside in the community is telling them not to. These guys do it. And the last thing it does is, and you'll hear from these guys, is when you are in this position, just like Wilson Matthews, loyalty is paramount. Loyalty is paramount. Coach Broyles would be proud of this group. Coach Broyles would be proud of this group. I am honored to be back. I can't tell you how much it means to be a part of the Broyles legacy. And I thank you, and God bless everybody. And I can't wait to catch up with everybody after the event. Thank you.
All right, before we announce our finalists real quick, I'll tell one story. I tell it about every year because I'm getting ready to introduce the most important person the most important people, rather, in the lives of our assistant coaches and finalists, and that is their significant others, the true heads of their household. I had to borrow money to do this award 30 years ago. I had no money. Coach Broyles said I couldn't call on anybody who was given to the Razorback Foundation, so I eliminated every company in Arkansas. So I knew I was in trouble pretty quick, so I had found a banker that actually was a big Ohio State fan. And if it hadn't been for him, there would not be a Broyles Award. He's no longer with us, and so he lent me money, and I had to keep borrowing it. So I ended up borrowing about $100,000, and my debt service for the Broyles Award was more than my mortgage on my house, but I knew it was worth it, that 30 years later we could be here today honoring good men and honoring Coach Broyles. So it all worked out. But the great story, this is one of the great stories of Coach Broyles. We called the first finalist class in 1996. I called Mickey Andrews and said, Coach Andrews at Florida State. Coach, you're a finalist for the Broyles Award. Congratulations. We're going to fly you up from Tallahassee. It's going to be a great night. He said, oh, David, I'm so excited. Thank you so much. Hey, would you mind if I bring my wife? And I said, sure. I'm like, that's another $1,000. That's my budget just went to $2,000. I said, okay. So I called the next finalist, and I don't know if it was Norm Chow or David. I can't remember who it was, but he called and did the same thing. David, do you mind can I bring my wife? I'm like, sure you can, Coach. Of course. So it happened the third time. So I thought, oh my Lord, my budget for travel back then, 1996, was going from $5,000 to $10,000. That was a lot of money. I called Coach Broyles panicking. Coach, I said, got a little bit of a problem. I said, all these finalists want to bring their wives. And the brilliance of Coach Broyles, I'll never forget this phone call. In that Georgia draw, he said, oh, David. He said, that's a great sign because you know, David, if they want to bring their wife, that means it means something to them. And he was so right. And so for 30 years, the most important thing for those who can, bringing their significant other here to honor them because of what they've sacrificed for y'all's career has been a one. And Coach Broyles knew that 30 years ago, so that was outstanding. One of my favorite stories about Coach Broyles. So if we could, real quick, would you please stand up? I don't know where they're at. Laney Bobo, Bernadette Wood, Julie Heatherman, Kira Williams, please stand up. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, ladies. Raina Patricia could not be here. I know, Matt, she's dealing with a lot right now, but I know she would be here, and I know they may say something in a second, but ladies, you know, you're the backbone. You are the stars behind the scenes, and thank you for being here. All right, at this time, we want to bring up a guy who's become an Arkansan. He's been doing this for, I think, 14 years, I think. One of the greatest offensive linemen in college football history, a unanimous All-American, Outland Trophy winner for the Pitt Panthers, and Jackie Sherrill, who was also a Broyles assistant coach, winner of 2 Super Bowls under Joe Gibbs, another connection with Coach Broyles, and great to have him back again. There's not a more loyal person than this guy behind us, and one of the greatest football players of all time who were introduced to our finalists. Let's give it up for Mark May, everybody.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure and an honor to come back to the great state of Arkansas. I consider this my second home, although I live in Arizona. And the reason why I come back is because of this award and because of the people of this state. What this award means to me is what Coach Broyles has been able to do over years is to honor those assistant coaches, but the foundation means just as much or more to helping people in need. And that's what's really important. And with that being said, let's get to the coaches. Our first coach is 3-time Broyles Award nominee and first-time finalist. Texas Tech defensive coordinator, Sheil Wood. Wherever this young man goes to coach, they find a way to take the ball away. 4 out of his last 5 years, they've created and taken away the turnovers 24 times or more in 4 out of those 5 years. The reason why is because they're smart, they're efficient, they get to the football. So with that being said, let's get to the videotape.
Sheil Wood, defensive coordinator, Texas Tech. Sheil, what is his name? Producing elite defenses, that's his game. This is a team game! A team game! The team! Forward! Back in 2021, he was calling the shots for Army's defense, and the Cadets ended up in the top 15 unit. 2022 at Troy, the top 10 defensive turnovers game and scoring defense. 2023, Tulane's Green Wave under his guidance. His defense ranked 3rd in the nation in turnovers. In 2024, he took that Houston defense that ranked 105th and transformed it into a top 25 unit. In this past season at Texas Tech, he inherited the Red Raider defense ranked 126th in total defense and turned it into one of the country's very best. They finished 3rd in the nation in both scoring and total defense, and no team forced more turnovers than Shieldwood's Red Raiders. It all started 20 years ago in South Carolina as a high school assistant. Tonight, we honor Shieldwood of Texas Tech as a Broyles Award finalist, a coach whose defenses just don't compete, they dominate.
This is very exciting to have you here. Your defense was one of the greatest stories in college football this year. But I want to start with you because we have a weird theme amongst our finalists this year. You all were offensive players for the most part. So you started your career, you were a leading receiver on a SoCon championship team in college. Why defense all of a sudden?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that video makes me look like I yell all the time, and I don't. Secondly, I'd like to acknowledge my wife, Bernadette. Thanks for being here and all the support that you give me. And then thirdly, gosh, you do great research to dig up that stuff. So, I played receiver in college. I was a wide receiver at Wofford College, a small Division I FCS program in South Carolina. We were an option team, so I was just like I played the same position Mark did. I just lined up outside the tackle box, so I blocked all the time as a receiver. But played the position and then started my coaching career coaching wide receivers. Got the opportunity to move over to the defensive side of the ball. My head coach, Mike Ayers, gave me that opportunity, and haven't looked back. It's been tremendous for my career.
One of the things, you talked about your wife, and I'm fascinated by this because this is a grueling profession, and you guys are grinding all the time, particularly assistant coaches, and you were kind of ascending in college football, doing a great job, and you had your first daughter, and you took time off to be the stay-home dad while your wife did her medical residency. I've literally never heard of this career path. One, why did you feel like that was important for your family? And two, how did you have the faith that you would be able to get back in your dream job when the time was right?
Well, my wife, Bernadette, is a physician, board certified in internal medicine and pediatrics, phenomenal student in college and med school. We're going through, her med school. We're married at the time. I'm coaching at Wofford College. I'm in my 5th and 6th season of college football coaching. We're getting ready to have our first daughter, Faye, who was born on March 13th, 2013. And she was going to finish her med school that May and match for residency. And anybody knows about medical residency, it's extremely demanding time and training. And we work crazy schedules as college coaches and lots of hours, but I think it kind of pales in comparison, especially to the first year or two of residency. So we're sitting there, we're getting, there's no playbook for being first-time parents, and we're sitting there, we're like, how the heck are we going to make this work? So ultimately, we just decided that it was just the right decision for me to kind of take a step back, allow her to finish her training. We ended up being very blessed. Our daughter, Faye, who's 12, is doing great, but at that time, we ended up having some things from a developmental standpoint where, me being at home was just, it was a godsend for us. So took that time off, helped support Bernadette and her training, and then lo and behold, I knew I wanted to get back into coaching. I didn't know what that would look like, what shape it would take, but my head coach, Mike Ayers, that I'd played for at Wofford, coached for at Wofford, gave me the opportunity to step back into the same role, actually, that I left, opened back up, so that was kind of wild. And it was about the time where Bernadette was finishing her residency training, stepped back into that role, and we haven't looked back. And, I've been blessed now that she has supported me, as a great professional in her own right and been there to support me. And we're just excited to be at Texas Tech.
Okay, your ascension is wild. So you come back in 2016, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, Army, Troy, Tulane. You have been rising fast in this profession. Why do you think that is? What is something that you know you're great at that is allowing you to succeed?
I don't know that I'm great at anything. I love the game. I love to compete. I love to work hard. I've been blessed to be around some really outstanding football coaches, some mentors of mine. Mike Ayers, I mentioned him several times, was my college coach, and then allowed me to coach for him for 8 years. I got a tremendous education as an early coach in my career, working under him. For 30 years, he was the head coach of Wofford College. He's in about 5 Hall of Fames. Just a tremendous leader, a motivator, and teacher of young people. Nate Woody's a guy that I kind of came up under from a defensive standpoint. He's just recently taken the defense coordinator job at the University of Cincinnati in the Big 12. But and a lot of others, but I think maybe the thing that I did was realize that I needed to latch on to some guys that I saw early on in my career that were really good at what they did, and try to just be a sponge and learn as much as I could from them. And fortunately for me, that's allowed for us to have a little bit of a wild ride in terms of moving around, but it's been for great opportunities, and the opportunity to work for Joe McGuire at Texas Tech has been tremendous, and excited for this next season coming up as well.
I'm glad you brought him up, because it's not usual that all the time that your head coach is here where you get to be the finalist. So with him sitting right there, we were at your place this year. We got to do your big game against BYU where you guys really dominated that. I still feel bad for Bear Bachmeier. That was a bad game for him. There's something special in your building, and you can feel it, and there's a good feeling there. What is Coach McGuire building that you're helping with that you think is really special?
Well, my wife and I are so ecstatic every day that we're a part of this program with Coach McGuire at the helm. And I just know this. And again, I'll go back to the man that I played for as a college football player and got a chance to coach for, Mike Ayers. I knew at an early age how special he was and the opportunity to learn and train under him. There's a lot of really great football coaches across the country. I think Joe McGuire is one of the absolute best. And the thing that makes him so special in my estimation is just he is so sincere, so genuine. He's extremely energetic, extremely positive. And what he does is he creates a tremendous working environment for our staff and for our players, to where when you come in the building, when you wake up, my feet hit the floor in the morning, I cannot wait to go into that building and get a chance to interact with my boss, Coach McGuire, to get a chance to interact with our staff, our players. And he just makes it such a welcoming environment. And that's not like that every place. And I think that's a huge part of our success, because our players know the love that he has for them, and it just bleeds into our staff. And what it ultimately translates to, I believe, and the reason that we had the success we had, is it becomes a situation where it's the continuity, the culture, the love in the program. It turns into a player-led program out of the locker room, and those are the best programs to be a part of.
I love it. Our time's almost out. Just quickly, I wanted to ask you, I was just wondering if you and Bryant Haynes over there, if anybody turned over the dinner plate or something, because you guys created so many turnovers this year. Come on, that was funny. Give me, come on. I need more energy back. Thank you.
Let's go.
That was funny.
Let's go.
I saw him steal that steak off your plate. Come on. No, you get to the ball. How do you guys take the ball away? What is the key? I know Jacob Rodriguez is a huge key of that. He was on my Heisman ballot. What else is it that's making you guys special in that regard?
Well, Coach McGuire, when I stepped in, he's got our program is a Take 3 program. That's our mantra. So we place a huge emphasis every day on taking the football away, training those fundamentals and techniques. And so, that's something that we try to develop in our guys. But we were very fortunate. Bottom line is, I'm sitting here today because we had a lot of great football players and great coaches on our team this past year. Jacob Rodriguez was one of them, and boy howdy did he know how to take that football away. I think that his ability to do that at such a high level also just kind of bled into the rest of our football team, and they were really hungry to run to that ball, number one, and then to attack it when they got there, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of.
Well, it was a lot of fun to watch your team play. It was joyful and devastating all at the same time. Shieldwood, everybody.
Our next finalist for the Broyles Award is Defensive Coordinator Matt Patricia from Ohio State. Talk about accepting a challenge. The Ohio State Buckeyes just came off a national championship. Their defense was one of the best in the nation. So the bar was set extremely high for the next defensive coordinator to come in to exceed and to meet that challenge. Matt Patricia, with his resume and what he's been able to do to quarterbacks schematically over the years in the NFL, now in college football, that's the reason why the Buckeyes had a great defense this year, is because of their defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia. Let's get to the videotape.
Defensive coordinator, Ohio State. Most people know Matt Patricia from his spectacular run to the New England Patriots. He was part of 3 Super Bowl championship teams, and during his 9 seasons calling the defense, the Patriots ranked among the best in the league in fewest points allowed 8 different times. And in 2016, Patricia's defense led the entire NFL in scoring defense and capped it off with a Super Bowl win. So the big question was this: how would that success translate to the college game? And could he elevate a national championship defense? The answer came quickly. This season, Patricia's Ohio State defense became one of the most dominant units in college football history. The Buckeyes led the nation in total defense, passing defense, and scoring defense, allowing just 9.3 points per game, and holding 10 opponents to 10 points or fewer. Once considered one of the top defensive lines in the NFL, tonight Matt Patricia earns the highest honor a college assistant can receive. Ohio State defensive coordinator Matt Patricia is a Broyles Award finalist.
Well, congratulations. This is so fun. So you are the only coach here that I didn't get to cover this year. So forgive me if some of these are questions you've already answered. What is the pencil behind the ear? I'm just fascinated by this.
Yeah, that's a story. I get asked that question a lot.
Yeah.
The pencil actually started, I'm an engineer with my background, so used a lot of mechanical pencils, a lot of derivations and equations, and always kind of had a pencil on me. But when I got to New England with the Patriots, the way that we broke film, back then we would draw every single play, and we would draw all 22 guys, exactly all of their movements, the detail, how they, just handled the plays and the routes and all of it. So we would break a game, and a game would take anywhere between 10 to 12 hours to break for me to do in your meetings and your practices. So any moment you had, you were trying to get on there and draw a play and get a game broken down. So you always had, I was like a walking Staples. I mean, I had pencils and I had pens and I had erasers. You were just always drawing. So, you found out the number 2 pencil, a nice sharp point in there. You could really draw those fine lines and erase the mistakes, and just you always had it on you all the time. So kind of just tucked it up under the hat. It was probably the safest place for it to go. It's not real good to be carrying a sharp number 2 pencil around all the time. So that's where it started, and we just always drew. We always drew the game, and so I've always carried one since.
I love that. Like, how better to learn plays and learn the game than actually having to envision it and create it on paper. You did have an engineering background. I find this fascinating. Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute is where you played, where you were obviously a center or guard. Like what is this with our defensive coordinators? We're all offensive guys. What was that experience like?
Yeah, school was really hard. I'm an aeronautical engineer, so there was a lot of late nights, a lot of studying, and then practice and lifting and all the rest of it. So, it certainly taught me a lot about discipline. It taught me a lot about keeping a schedule and hard work and problem solving and a lot of things that I think really I carried with me into my coaching career. But, it was Division III football, so, you're out there every single day working for the love of the game. And it was just an unbelievable experience for me in college to, be on those teams and have that opportunity. I wasn't very good, but you're trying your best out there, so learned a lot.
I love it. You took a break from coaching and were an engineer with Hoffman Air and Filtration, and then you got a job offer to maintain nuclear submarines and aircraft carriers. So what made you go back to coaching football? And you had to take a massive pay cut, right?
Yeah, the engineering profession was pretty good. I played college football for 4 years. I stayed a 5th year, started my MBA, kind of was doing the engineering MBA, and that's really when I fell in love with coaching. I think at that moment, when you're done playing football, because, people tell you just can't play anymore, you really, probably as a coach, I spent that next 6 months saying, well, I could still do that, I could still play. But I really remember the exact moment that, one of the offensive linemen that I was coaching was able to do something that we worked on all week long, and it was picking up one of the blitz schemes, and he did a great job, and we scored, and we won the game. And just to see the joy on his face, that he worked so hard to accomplish something, and to see him do that and succeed, it was just like a light switch went off, and I was like, this is way better than playing. This is like the coolest thing I've ever seen, to watch him have success. So I got done with that first year, and my mom called, and she said, look, you're not on scholarship anymore. You need to go work. So I did engineering for 2.5 years, and I loved it, but I missed the game. So I did have a great opportunity to go be a maintenance engineer for submarines, aircraft carriers, United States Navy. So I get the job. I'm driving home. My mom calls, and she said, great, how'd it go? And I was like, great, I got the job, Mom. It's awesome. And she goes, oh, my gosh, that's great. And I said, but one of my college coaches called. He's got a $5,000 a year defensive line job, and I think I'm going to take that instead. So it was a long pause, a lot of silence on the other end, and she's like, what are you doing? And I said, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to. And if you don't, if you're going to take a shot, believe in yourself, take a chance on yourself, follow through with it, and really, I'm one of those stories that you can do whatever you want. So I just wanted to get back to teaching and mentoring and being around young men between 18 and 22, and that was really my draw to coaching, was really college football. That's where I wanted to be.
So was Mom still there when you won 2 Super Bowls, and what was her reaction then?
Yeah, she was on the flights with the tickets in the front row, and a lot of games, a lot of stuff. So it was fun.
Okay, I love that beyond words. You had high success in the NFL. We know your background there. College is different, and I'm a college football girl, so I'm always like, but we're different here. What was different in your first year at Ohio State?
Yeah, Ohio State's a special place, and the fan base, and the shoe in that first game, that was unbelievable. I've been in some pretty big stages, but that was amazing. And for me to come back to college after about 25 years, it was just something that I really wanted to change. I wanted to get back to that environment. I wanted to get back to teaching and mentoring and helping kids develop. And also, I have 3 kids. My wife is amazing. She's a rock star, and the only reason I can do this, and with 3 kids, they had never seen the college atmosphere before. And game day for college football is unlike anything. And that was really special for me to be able to show my kids and watch my kids see that through their eyes. I grew up outside of Syracuse, New York, and it was all, it was college sports, Big East football and Big East basketball back then. So to be able to share that with my family was really cool. And everybody asked me what the biggest difference is. And, for me, it was just walking into that room and just being able to be around the kids and see that joy, that youthful energy and love for the game of football was just so invigorating to me. It just really brought me back to my roots of why I wanted to coach. And I just loved going in there and, seeing their faces and watching them want to learn. And certainly, a lot of those kids have aspirations to be at the next level. And that's something that I can, give them that inside detailed picture of. So it was just an incredible experience.
Okay, before I let go, you guys, I think it was just over 9 points per game. In this era of offense, that's really freaking great, if I can say that. I don't remember that low of points per game since like the really boring Alabama LSU national championship. Remember that horrible game that we all suffered through? I think that year Alabama allowed like 8-point-something points per game. How were you able to do that? Because the Big Ten offenses were good this year. We saw what Indiana did.
Yeah, certainly, I just really give credit to our players. You have to give credit to them first and foremost. We had 8 guys that had never really even played before for us. So walking into that challenge, and we knew we had great players, and just trying to figure out what do they do well and how do we put them in positions to be, play fast and aggressive and make plays was really fun. And they gravitated to it. They bought in. They trusted me, which was amazing. And, I just give them all the credit. And also, I think, for me, my assistant coaches, those guys were tremendous. They just did so much hard work behind the scenes. And obviously, I'm very honored, to be here. But it's really about them, the hours you spend in the film room and having discussions and conversations and arguments about what you're going to do and the players and the scheme. Those guys worked endlessly to just put us in those positions. So it's a special group. It's a special place. I was really blessed to be there, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much. Nuclear subs, college football. I don't know which is more dangerous, but I know which one you love the most. You've used the word joy many times, and it's wonderful to see you kind of living out your dream in something that you love so much. Thank you so much, Coach.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Our next finalist for the Broyles Award is Defensive Coordinator Corey Heatherman from Miami. This is a defense that created mayhem, and I love the name mayhem because it reminds me of my last name, which means they got to the quarterback, tackles for loss, fumbles, interceptions. Their 47 sacks were the most sacks that my Miami Hurricane team had had since 2002. 6 of his players in his first year at Miami were named All ACC. Let's get to the videotape.
Corey Heatherman, defensive coordinator, Miami. Corey Heatherman didn't get here overnight. He spent 16 years coaching at every level of the game before finally getting his first shot at the FBS. There were a lot of stops along the way, including James Madison, working under Kurt Signetti. He helped coach 3 top 10 defenses in the country. His first FBS opportunity, 2022, linebackers coach at Rutgers. Just 2 years later, Minnesota trusted him with the keys to the defense, and he delivered. In 2024, the Golden Gophers ranked 5th nationally in total defense and 9th in scoring defense. Then came Miami, and the turnaround, remarkable. A defense that gave up 30 or more points 5 times the year before Heatherman arrived, never allowed more than 27 points a game this season. By the end of the year, Miami finished top 5 in the nation in scoring defense and rushing defense. A coach once considered one of the brightest defensive minds in FCS football is now part of a very exclusive group. Please welcome Broyles Award finalist Corey Heatherman, defensive coordinator at Miami.
Okay, so we have another quarterback, obviously, as a defensive coordinator. Tell me about Fitchburg State. You had kind of an interesting journey where somebody told you that you should change sides of the ball. How did this come about?
Yeah, so at my first year of coaching, I worked with quarterbacks, wide receivers, moved to running backs in spring, and it was comfortable. It was what I knew. It was a little bit easier. Didn't have to work as hard maybe at understanding the details of everything. Just went back to how I did it or how I was taught to do it. After that year, I had an opportunity for a GA job. Didn't get the opportunity and went back and learned defense. And, it was kind of recommended to get back on the offensive side of the football. And however many years later now, I'm still on defense.
Yeah.
My first year, though, I went to Springfield College. It was a small Division III school in Western Mass. And we had a full-time professor / football coach on offense, full-time football coach professor on defense, and then the head coach. Everyone else was a GA. There were 9 GAs, and we had to work together, drawing the cards, breaking down the film, going through everything. And I was the worst coach. Just like you go in motion, I had no idea what to do. Call a timeout. You shifted, how to tackle, how to, defeat a block. There was a lot of things I had never done as a player, so it taught me a lot. But it was the best experience for me as a football coach, and I've been blessed to be on that side of the ball now since.
All of you guys have paid your dues in such really unique ways, but your resume I'm just fascinated by, because what in the heck were the Wurzburg Panthers? Where were you coaching with the Wurzburg Panthers?
So I had an opportunity in my senior year of college. I was student teaching at Leominster High School, and I had an opportunity to go play in Austria and kind of drop out of college, which probably wasn't the best decision, but had an opportunity to drop out of college and go play over there. And after my first game, we were playing the Graz Giants, which I learned Arnold Schwarzenegger was from there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I learned after the first game, we no longer had a head football coach. And at that point, the coach that was there was like, listen, you guys run the offense, we'll run the defense, and we'll be good. And I don't know if we were really good, but it was an awesome experience. And then my second year, I had an opportunity to stay in Europe, and I went to Würzburg, which I heard was Dirk Nowitzki's hometown, which was kind of a cool experience to be a part of. But I had a chance to play there, and I was the only American on that team. The year before, there were 5 of us. And like David Paluca, the former strength coach of the Dolphins, was one of the guys who was over with us. We had a lot of, it was a really cool, neat experience. Carter Conley, the defensive coordinator at Center College, was there playing with me. My second year, went over with Würzburg and had a chance to play. And after that was kind of the decision to go all in with coaching and kind of hang it up.
Oh my gosh, okay. I'd like to have known that phone call. Hey, Mom, I'm dropping out of college to go to Europe for football. That would have been an interesting call. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your team this year. They mentioned you came up from JMU. You've also had a meteoric rise. JMU in 2019, then Rutgers, Minnesota, and now Miami. This Miami defense, I was obsessed with them this year. You guys had such a high level of buy-in. You know, you're new there. They don't know that much about you, and those players loved you. How did you get that buy-in from them so quickly?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that we wanted to accomplish, you know, in like our first 30 days was the players. We wanted the players to want to play for one another. They wanted to believe in what we were doing. We wanted to speak the same language. And that's kind of what, you know, that first January going into February when we got off the road was, okay, this is how we're going to do things. And it had nothing to do with X's and O's. It was, you know, you wanted to play for the guy next to you. And it was winter workouts, or it was in meetings, or it was, you know, the confidence in their voice when they answered questions. It's how we finished drills. And then, you know, the confidence that when we went over, you know, whatever the techniques or the fundamentals, and guys started picking each other up. And that's where you started seeing, okay, now this means the D-line's going to play with the linebackers, or the linebackers are going to play with the DBs, and we're all in this thing together. And it became more player-led. And I think, you know, that's where it started, and then it was never, you know, it was always about just how hard we played. We wanted to be the fastest team the way we swarmed. We wanted to be the most violent team the way that we struck, you know, off the line of scrimmage. And our guys bought into that, and I think, you know, that was the number one thing we wanted to see when you turned on the tape against Notre Dame. This is what shows up, and that's what showed up.
It did show up. I was obsessed with your two defensive ends, as I'm sure a lot of people were. But Ruben Bain, to me, is maybe one of my favorite defensive players I've ever seen, because he drove that thing. Like, we were at one of your practices in Scottsdale for the Fiesta Bowl, and, you know, it's like practice 100 of the season or whatever, and he's running from field to field, and he's the first guy from there to there. Like, how did you breed that kind of culture of want to and pride in wanting to?
Yeah, I think, you know, Coach Cristobal, the strength staff, you know, everyone involved, that's the way that Bain was wired. And, you know, when you take a job, it's okay, here's one of your best players. He's been very successful. How is he going to practice? How is he going to compete? And we always had like the violence clip of the day, the swarm clip of the day, and the ball clip of the day. And anytime I struggled to find it, I just watched him. And you'd find it in the first play. Like, he ran to the ball like he was just trying to make the team. He just wanted to get on the bus. He came off the ball in practice, whether it was a scout team rep, it was a good-on-good rep, it was the 35th rep of practice that day, and August 10th. He played as hard as he possibly could every single time. That's why he is the player he is. But that's what made it so easy for everyone else to follow. Hey, here's one of our best players. Here's going to be a high draft pick. You know, and then, you know, he just did it every single day over and over. And that, you know, that helped lead our guys for exactly what we wanted to be.
Yeah, it was beautiful to watch, and you fostered that culture and that energy. Before we let you get out of here, there's kind of a really weird and unique thing, and since you're the first guy up, you get to talk the most trash. So you are like besties with one of our finalists here tonight, and you guys ended up coaching, not necessarily against each other because you're both defensive coordinators, but for the national championship. What is it like to be a finalist for the Broyles Award with one of your best friends in the business, Coach Haynes from Indiana?
You know, I think
you can talk trash too. It's like you can smoke him.
You know, I think the biggest thing and the best thing in our profession is relationships. The relationships with the coaches, the relationships with the players. You know, the number one thing I fumbled tonight is, you know, I got to thank my wife, Julie. I think
we were getting there. I wasn't going to let him get out of
gonna,
here, Julie. Trust me, your name is written right here.
But, you know, like everything that she allows me to do to, you know, spend extra time in the office, spend extra time with the staff, spend extra time with the players. But, you know, we were together for 3 years at JMU, and, you know, just the relationship that we built there. And it was one thing I'm very big on, and the only reason why I'm sitting here right now is my staff. You know, I didn't invent anything. I don't do anything crazy different than anyone else. I have great people around me. And, you know, that's one of the things when we were at JMU, we had great people. You know, and obviously they've gone to Indiana and, you know, been there, but, you know, I didn't really want to deal with that weather and all the other things that they got to deal with up there, so. But,
you know, national champions and stuff, that's such a pain, yeah.
But, you know, like, you know, working with him for 3 years, the amount of football, you know, that I learned from him and, you know, everyone else that was on that staff, and to be a part of that. And then, you know, at that point, us hanging around, like my wife, him, you know, our families, you know, just growing together in the game. And, you know, we still all the time, hey, what are you doing here? Why are you doing this? And, he gives up a touchdown, I'll text him, hey, what call was this? Or they got to play this year with 10 guys on the field, and I'm like, what defense is this?
And you still vacation together, right? Didn't you guys vacation together before the season started?
I think he stopped through Miami on a little quick trip this summer, so we
Okay.
got to see him one more time.
All right, give me one embarrassing story about him. That is fit for a ballroom full of hundreds of people.
I can't go that much into a lot of them. I mean, we got a million stories on him. I just think the biggest thing for him is I'm a high school quarterback, basketball, baseball. I believe he was a wrestler at one point, big linebacker. He still will not fight me. I mean, that's the one thing. It's something with his back. He taps out every time. He just can't have it.
All right, 10 o'clock in the bar. Let's get this. The Broyles Throwdown. Let's go. Year one.
I'm ready.
Year
I'll
one.
be there.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. You were brilliant all year, and I appreciate you. You were just absolutely brilliant, and we thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Our next finalist for the Broyles Award is defensive coordinator Bryant Haynes from Indiana. He's been nominated 4 out of the last 5 seasons, but 2 consecutive seasons he's been a finalist. If you look at his defense, they get to the quarterback early and often. That's their model. They have 44 sacks this year. That set an Indiana record. But what's most important, they're really efficient. Very smart defense. They had the 8th fewest penalties in the FBS. So let's get to the videotape.
Bryant Haynes, defensive coordinator, Indiana. Bryant Haynes made 4
stops in his coaching career before one move changed everything. Back in 2014, Curt Cignetti brought him to Indiana University of Pennsylvania as the defensive line coach, and the partnership unstoppable from there. Since 2022, Haynes has been the guy behind some of the nation's most fearsome defenses. In 2023, his James Madison defense allowed only 61 yards rushing a game, best in the country, and led the nation with 9 tackles for loss per game. At Indiana, his 2 seasons have been nothing short of spectacular. Last year, they led the nation in rushing defense and ranked 2nd in total defense. This season, his national championship defense ranks 2nd in scoring defense, just 11 points per game, 4th in total defense, and made game-changing plays all over the field, ranking 3rd in turnovers forced and tackles for loss. Get ready. He'll throw the kitchen sink at every offense he faces. Broyles Award finalist, Indiana defensive coordinator, Bryant Haynes.
Well, Coach Haynes, you were one of our few finalists that actually played defense, played linebacker at Ball State. This journey that you have been on, you've been at some interesting places too, not as dramatic as Wurzburg, but your first job was the defensive line coach at Manchester. Where is Manchester?
It's just outside of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah, hard to find.
So you've been kind of an Indiana guy for most of your career because you really connected with Cignetti at IUP. Tell me what that impact was in your life of kind of getting with a coach who really believed in and empowers his assistants.
Yeah, that's really where my career started to take off is getting with Coach Cignetti. And how that came to be is actually my brother, who's here right there at table 11, was his offensive coordinator at IUP over in Pennsylvania, which is why I write Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Oh, it's in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Which
I'm
makes
sorry.
no sense, but
I literally did not know
it's
that.
all good.
Okay.
So my brother introduced me to Coach Cignetti, and once I got hired with him and saw how he operated, I could tell that he was going to do really well in profession. I mean, he'd already come from the Nick Saban tree, was recruiting coordinator at Alabama, wide receiver coach, but it was his day-to-day preparation, his organizational ability. I knew he was going places. I didn't know he was going to go to Indiana and win a national championship in year 2. I just knew he was a really good football coach, and I've just learned so much from him along the way.
You know, one thing that I thought made this Indiana team really special this year and why you're a finalist again is this defense, no 5 stars, and your best players on defense were kids that came with you from James Madison. So, you know, you have Tyreek Tucker, you have, oh my gosh, your linebacker who I love, Aiden Fisher. And you have these guys that nobody really recruited highly or really wanted, and here they are winning a national championship, anticipating every play. What was it about you as a coach that got more from these guys than anyone could have dreamed of?
Well, I don't want to sell those guys short because we say they're not 5 stars, but I don't know what that means. All I know is that those guys were tough as nails kids, really good high school football players, extremely competitive, highly motivated to be the best version of themselves that they could be. And to me, that's the mental makeup that you need to be a 5-star player. So you can put whatever number of stars you want on them. I thought I had a great group of guys at James Madison on defense. Thankfully, a lot of them came over from JMU to Indiana. D'Angelo Pons is another one that I bring up. And then a year ago, James Carpenter. I mean, I could keep going, but stars only mean so much in our system. I believe in the human being beneath that helmet.
Yeah, but you brought the best out in them. Like, I was at your practices. You had some really interesting practices at the Rose Bowl and then again at the National Championship where you would spend, I swear to God, half the practice on trash cans. And I kept asking the kids, well, what are these trash cans for? And they were like, if we come off the ball, I have to touch the trash can because that's my assignment, and I have to physically and mentally know this is my assignment. But I don't know if that's real. I want you to tell me about the trash cans.
That is real. That
Okay.
is real. I actually started at Manchester College there outside of Fort Wayne as a defensive line coach. I'm a big fan of front 7 football play, and the trash can is your physical key. So your hands need to snap to the correct person that we would identify as who could be coming to block us. But on a larger scale, in order to teach block destruction effectively, I mean, start by beating a trash can. We'll work our way up to beating an offensive lineman.
Yeah, no, you literally would spend more time on the trash cans at practice for the national championship game. It was fascinating to me. I love that because it is a physical and mental reminder of this is my assignment. This is my assignment.
Yeah, well, I'm such a big believer, and this is, I bet all the high school coaches would believe this too. Details matter. You know, coaching the small things matter. A lot of football games aren't won; they're simply lost because the technique isn't there, the fundamentals aren't there. So we will coach the fine details. We'll coach the small things. We'll coach them to the nth degree because they add up to create the big things.
I know that you've had to kind of navigate having a new baby during the season. Is this your little one in the papoose right here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Kira,
I was wondering who
girl,
our youngest Broyles Award attendee was.
Yeah, Kira, if you wouldn't mind standing up, because Gracie Bear's a little bit sleepy right now, but that's my daughter Gracie Bear right there, 7 months old. She's been at every game. She's 16-0, and it hasn't.
She is 16-0. I love that.
Never tasted defeat. But what's made it easier for me is how great Kira's been. I mean, obviously, our profession's hard. Having young ones, we're not home much. Our partner sacrificed for us, and I'm so grateful to have a partner that believes in me and is willing to follow me and take care of that beautiful baby girl back home.
Oh, thank you so much. She's never tasted defeat. That is my favorite thing we've heard here. That is so cute. Okay, I did not find many like funny, embarrassing stories about you. Anything? Oh, I did want to ask you this. Okay, in the national championship, twice in the fourth quarter, Coach Signetti goes for it on 4th down in Miami territory, and we're all like, what the heck is about to happen? I was dying to know what you as the defensive coordinator are thinking, because if that doesn't work, you guys are in peril coming out, on the changeover. So what were you thinking?
Yeah, I usually have a lot of belief and faith in Coach Signetti when he makes a decision like that. Granted, those were critical moments, and it could have gone either way, right? That can make or break a game or a moment. But, it was our offense on the field going against a Coach Heatherman defense, and I felt great about it.
This throwdown in the bar is going to be good. Andy's got his brother here. This could get epic, just so you know. You're joking, but you guys do have a beautiful relationship. This is a hard profession, and to have guys that you can lean on who are living the life you are and going through the stress you are, what has it been like to have him as a friend and someone that can be there as a confidant for you?
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. I mean, I tease him, but he's a fantastic football coach. He's a great man off the field, too, and I learned so much from him along the way. He was great to work for. I think this is a great message to any coach, young or old. Be willing to collaborate. Be willing to listen, whatever your role is. If a GA speaks up in my room, I need to hit pause and listen. What does he have to say? Coach Heatherman always did that for us. That's why his staff loves him so much. That's why his players love him so much. He'll listen to them, and he'll take into account what they're saying, implement it, and be highly effective in doing it.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Incredible year. It was a blast to be around that team. They were truly, truly special, and you did a great job. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Coach
Helen.
Brian Haynes.
Thank you.
Our fifth finalist is an offensive coordinator from Georgia, Mike Bobo. After losing 4 out of his 5 starting offensive linemen to the NFL, replacing basically his entire offensive line, his offense averaged over 32 points a game. His quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, was a finalist for the Manning Award and the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. He got Georgia back into the playoffs with their offense. They scored 34 points in their loss, unfortunately, in the playoff. But that was because their offense was tough and it was led by a great offensive lineman and a great offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo. Let's go to the videotape.
Mike Bobo, offensive
coordinator, Georgia. This former Georgia quarterback has been on fire since returning to the Bulldog staff 4 years ago. In 2022, he helped win a national championship. The next year, as offensive coordinator, his offense ranked 5th in the nation in total yards and scoring. 2024, more of the same. 12th in passing offense and 30-plus points in 9 games. This past season, Georgia ran one of the most efficient offenses in the country. They were 5th in the number of first downs and ranked 3rd on 4th down conversions. And quarterback Gunnar Stockton, in his first year starting, was top 25 in completion percentage, efficiency, and passing touchdowns. A Georgia native, a 3-time Broyles Award finalist, and one of the game's top offensive minds. Give it up for Mike Bobo, Broyles Award finalist.
Well, Coach Bobo, I was trying to think if this is a good joke or not, but I'm going to call you the Meryl Streep of the Broyles Award. You're good enough, you get nominated every year, which I think is quite a compliment. You have such a great story. I first met you when you had just finished playing. And what was your first job with Coach Donnan? I remember meeting you with Coach Jim Donnan, but you had just finished playing like maybe a year or two before.
Yeah, right after finishing playing, 97 was my last year. Thought I was going to go to the NFL. Sat there. Nobody called all weekend. Ended up saying, I need to get in coaching. Coach Donnan said, we got a job for you. And I worked on defense the first year with Joe Kynes on defensive side of football as a GA.
Oh my gosh, Joe Kynes is a legend. That's
He is
awesome.
a legend.
I did not know you got to do that with him. I love him so much. So you played quarterback, coached defense a little bit, but then you now celebrate over 20 years, 2007, promoted to offensive coordinator at Georgia. What was that journey like to go from kind of star quarterback, beloved guy, Georgia kid, to now be the offensive coordinator at Georgia?
I've been blessed, blessed to be in this profession, blessed to be raised by a high school coach. My dad, George Bobo, was a high school coach. The men that influenced me in this journey were high school coaches, and all I ever wanted to do was be a high school coach. And then having to play at the University of Georgia, having that opportunity, got my foot in the door in college coaching, and I was blessed to be a GA, and then went to Jacksonville State in Alabama, and Mark Richt gets the job at the University of Georgia, and he's looking for a young coach to basically be his GA. And it helped that my dad was a high school coach in the state of Georgia, got my foot in the door there at the University of Georgia, and to have him let me grow, let me learn there at the University of Georgia, and to turn the reins over to me in 2007 and go through ups and downs. I can't say enough about him. Coach Rick, Coach Don, and the men in my life, they've given me the opportunity and blessed. And that's what coaching is about. We're trying to affect players, but we're also coaches. We're trying to help these young coaches grow and get to where they want to go.
One of my favorite stories I did on television this year was this really crazy full circle moment for your family, because Gunnar Stockton is your quarterback, and he's so great and so tough. I freaking love that kid. I'm sorry.
Tough.
I'm gonna quit swearing eventually, but he is so tough. I love him. But his quarterback coach, since he was about 6 years old, was your dad. And now here you are calling plays for that kid. What is that like to have this kind of full circle family moment?
It's kind of surreal. My dad was my high school coach, and I go to the University of Georgia. He ends up retiring from being a head coach in a town in South Georgia, Thomasville, and goes and works for a guy up in Rabun County, Sonny Smart, Kirby Smart's dad. And in that town was a young Gunnar Stockton, who was a little kid and would come around the field house of Rabun County and grew up and wanted to be a quarterback. And my dad was there and, kind of took him under his wing and kind of helped train him early on. My dad does not deserve all the credit or does not want all the credit. Gunnar is who he is because he's an unbelievable family, how he works, he's toughness, he's selfless, he's humble, just a joy to coach.
But Gunnar was better when his center that started most of the games was in.
He's a hell of a player.
And that center at Georgia this year was Drew Bobo, your son.
Yes.
Like this whole layered story was just one of my favorite things.
Well, first of all, I got to thank his mother, Lainey Bobo. Drew is the oldest of 5. She has raised Drew, who plays center for us. We've got triplets, 2 girls and a son, Jake, who's now on the team. So I have both of my sons are on the team. And then my youngest daughter's coming to University of Georgia next year, Kate. And, she raised 5 children, really 6. She raised me. True coach of the household, my wife, Lainey. But we're so proud of Drew. Drew was, which most linemen are, but he was not as Coach was talking about, he wasn't a 4 or 5 star. He was a developmental guy coming out of high school. And, I wanted him to go to a program. I wasn't at the University of Georgia at the time, but go to a program where there was going to be a standard and accountability. And that's what Kirby Smart is about. And have an opportunity for him to go to the University of Georgia and play for Kirby Smart. Lainey and I both graduated from the University of Georgia. To be in that program, we knew he was going to grow. And then fortunately I got on the staff and have a chance to coach him, but we're so proud of how hard he worked, how he represents the University of Georgia and represents our family name.
Well, no offense to his backup, but he knew the offense so well, as he should, because you're his dad, that like when he went down with a foot injury and was out the last couple of games, I noticed, and it was big, and Gunnar wasn't as comfortable. So I just wanted to give you and your son and your whole family, from dad to grandpa to son to, it's just been really cool to watch this year. Before we let you get out here, you just kind of glossed over it, but triplets, hello, a mother, a coach's wife with triplets. You had 5 children under the age of like 10 at one point, right?
What was it? 504.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
5 under 4 at the same time. So if anybody deserves an award tonight, it is Lainey Bobo. I need to give it up for her. I remember talking to you in meetings during this time and just thinking like, this has got to be chaos at home. And here you are trying to call plays. And
It's we think we have a tough job, but what these women do and all these coaches managing our households and have 5 children under the age of 4, she doesn't flinch, and I love her for it. I know our kids love her for it too. Thank you.
All right, well, we are out of time, but I wanted to say before you get out of here, you have coached so many great players. Matthew Stafford, tutelage under him, who has had an incredible year in the NFL. He got his start with you. I know he's super talented, but you really brought out the best in him. You have been such a long-time, wonderful coach, and I just want you to know people appreciate you, and we see it. Your offensive line had more starting combinations this year. Your right tackle and right guard were switching out every other play. Like, people who know what a great job you did this year, and I just hope you know we see it.
Well, I appreciate that, but it's not all me. We've got a great coaching staff that do an unbelievable job. We've got former coordinators in that room, guys that are just selfless. And the players, the commitment to what they do every day to go on the field and play for the University of Georgia in this day and era was sometimes it's about the individual. Credit our players, credit our head coach for representing Georgia the right way.
Well, thank you so much, Coach Mike Bobo.
Thank you.
How about our 5 finalists tonight? The 2025 Broyles World Class. What a great group of guys. Outstanding. And special ladies in their lives too. My Lord, my goodness. All right, let's bring up Molly. Let's bring up Betsy. Let's bring up, how about Holly Rowe tonight, everybody? Wow, she knows her stuff. And how about one of the greatest players ever, Mark May, everybody? Let's give it up for Mark May. So, Betsy, coming up, we got a little treat before we announce the winner. Betsy, Molly?
In order of the 30th year anniversary, we're going to hear from my dad.
And the winner is Mickey Andrews of Florida State. The winner is Ralph Reason of Georgia Tech. Go Child.
So I used it.
And the winner of the 30th Annual Broyles Award is Bryant Haynes, Indiana.
All right. I mean, I was told to keep it brief, so I promise I will. What I want to say is this award is so much bigger than me. I'm proud to stand here as a representative of Indiana University, that staff. There's 10 other assistants, full-time assistants on that organization that make that thing go. Our offense was first in the conference in rushing, passing efficiency, and total yards and scoring. So I didn't do this alone. I'm so proud of the team, those players, the way they competed for one another, the way they love each other. This foundation is so special. 30-year anniversary. We got to make sure we do another 30. Thank you so much to all the people that made it happen, the foundation itself. Thank you for a great night. Appreciate that.
Thanks for being here, everybody. 30 years, congratulations. Thanks for everything that you've done, everybody. For Coach Broyles tonight, thanks for being here. We'll see you for another 30 years. Good night, everybody. See you next year. Congratulations, Coach Haynes. For those of you that want to get a chance to say hello to all of our finalists or Coach Haynes, just come over here to the right side or the stage left, if you will. I know we've got media that will want to talk to our winner and finalists, but if you want to get a chance, just hang tight over there. You'll get the chance to say hello. Congratulations. Just be patient. It was a great night. Thanks to Oakland. Everybody here in Hot Springs, all our great sponsors. And we'll see you next year.
She wanted to meet you at the game.
Okay, gotcha. We're just going here. All right, here we go. Well, Coach, what went through your mind when you win the Broyles Award?
A lot. I think about all the people that helped me happen. how my journey has been. It's been a long journey. Manchester College, Fort Wayne, Indiana, take it to a point like this. Even sitting on stage with some guys, I know I'm sitting next to my buddy Corey Heatherman, but that's the defensive coordinator for that Miami defense that was phenomenal. Matt Patricia's defense was historic. I mean, those finalists were all fantastic. To even be associated with them is a blessing. To hold that trophy and bring it back to Bloomington means the world.
You know, it's really special because it not only signifies the impact you've had as an assistant coach, but a lot of guys that win this go on to be a head coach. We've seen 4 guys just get nominated or get jobs in the NFL. You know, what does this help you for your resume and your future?
I haven't even considered it. I'm always just stuck where my feet are, doing the very best job that I can wherever I'm at. Right now, that's the defensive coordinator at Indiana. I love that job. I love that team. I love that coaching staff. I'm so thankful to work with them every day.
It's really beautiful. You know, we talked about the success this Indiana team had. You're national champions. And this was a defense that had a lot of guys that were transfers from JMU, maybe guys that had been overlooked. But what made your team so special and your ability to bring the best out of this defense?
I think our team's strongest belief in one another than anyone in the country. I think they had the strongest brotherhood. I think they believed in each other more. I think they fought harder for one another than any other team was willing to fight. You know, different designs and schemes, sure, but at the end of the day, I think that team fought harder than everybody else.
I know it's hard to talk about yourself and you want to be modest, but there are things you do that you're great at. What is it that you feel like you have really come into your own as an assistant coach and a defensive coordinator that you're really proud of for this season?
I have faith in myself. I have confidence and conviction in what I'm doing, including game plan and also critical moment calls. I think when the moment is hottest and the lights come on and are nice and bright, I'm going to put the guys in a position to be successful.
I love that confidence. Last but not least, you know, your family's here, your brother's here, most importantly, your baby girl is here. What does this mean to kind of get this kind of an award as you start your family and your life?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, this whole journey, because it's like it was the Rose Bowl, you know, and then it was the Peach Bowl, and that was a national championship, and we had a player win the Heisman, and I'm winning this. I got a family. I got a beautiful baby girl. 2020, fantastic year for me. Hard to one up this one. I'm thankful for everything I've gotten along the way.
Well, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
I'll give you one more.